everyone. Welcome to Wrestling Royalty in what I promised was going to be a very, very fun night. We are going to be having not one, but two streams on with us tonight. So I don't want to kind of waste any more time. I'm going to just get straight into it. We are going to be introducing both channels very shortly. We have RN Pro Wrestling and the boys from there. And we also have Gimme guys as well, who all of them you'll have seen at some point, or you'll see them on their streams. Everyone here is very friendly. It may get a little bit competitive as we go on, because tonight we are going to be doing our very own WWE draft. We're going to be going through a little bit of a fantasy draft, a little bit of fantasy booking at the end of it. And hopefully we're just going to have a bit of a laugh, to be honest, as well. So before we go any further, just remember to like, subscribe, follow, comment. We would love to hear from you tonight. Get your comments going. We'll read them out, I promise. We'll get through everything we can. And just let us know who you would be drafting onto your respective brand as well. So before we introduce them, let's have a little bit of an intro. So thank you for spending your Friday evening with us. It's probably be a manic day for you. You're all looking forward to the weekend, and your weekend starts right now. So thank you very much for joining us. To start with, I'm going to bring in RN Pro Wrestling, and these boys are Scott. Hello, Scott. And hello. I'm also going to bring in Rob.
Hi.
So as you can see, Scott and Rob are here. They're going to join us. So before we go any further, I would like you guys just to give a little bit of a hello, introduce yourselves, and straight away just tell people where they can find you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so like I say, we're from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. I'm Scott. This one down here in the mask is Rob. You can find us at RM Pro Wrestling on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Long story short, we're part of the Rebellious Noise Network, who have many different channels: football, food, film and TV, whatever you want to talk about, we're there for you. But of course, we are big wrestling fans as well. So really excited to do this, mate. Thank you so much for inviting us on. Rob, you got anything you want to say?
Everything that Scott said. But if you're asking why I'm wearing a mask, I'm the resident luchador of Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling. There is a backstory, but obviously the stream's got to carry on, so I'll tell you at a later time.
Fair enough. Well, good to have you here, guys. Before I go into any of the rules, we do have another team that we've got to introduce. And this team is the Gimme They are also WrestleSphere. They wear many, many different hats and have many, many different ventures. So I'm going to introduce Sam Smith and Dom Smith, aka the Smiths. They're not that kind of Smiths. They're a little bit more exciting than that. But I am sure that they're both charming men in their own right. So let's introduce them.
That was an incredible intro, man. I love that. Like,
I can't tell if that went wrong or fully right. Go on, Bob.
No, that was ace. I was never actually a big Smiths fan, but I am a big fan of Sam Smith, and Sam Smith's going to do all the intro stuff today. So, segue.
Yeah, he's tired. Yes, so we are, like you said, Andy, we wear many hats. I generally only ever wear this one, and I can take it off anytime I want. I just choose not to, which is what I've been telling my wife for 6 weeks. But anyway, we are Gimme podcast. It's me, which comprises of me, Dom, Anthony Nayland, Dan Hargreaves, and a few other special guests and moderators. We run a podcast watching Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and whatever else, all the pay-per-views every week as well. And we never, ever get any sleep, which is cool. We also run, this is a bit of fun. This is us messing around with our friends, Gimme and a lovely community that we've, Dom and Anthony have primarily built. But we also have WrestleSphere, which is more of a journalistic endeavor, part of Dom's Soundsphere magazine. And we're working very hard in the background to turn that into something very special. And I'm rabbiting on. Dom, anything you'd like to say?
Just a pleasure to be here. And I just want to say before this gets messy, I've got all the respect in the world for the Rebellious Noise Network and all the effort that they do, and all the things that they do. So big love, lads.
Likewise.
I don't know how this is going to go, but I just wanted to, before everything kicks off, just wanted to extend my fist as a fist bump of respect. And good.
Let's hope it. Here. Let's hope the stream ends in the same way. We're all calm.
All chill. All chill. It's good to see you guys again for sure.
You too, man.
And I just want to point out that Dom is actually generally that nice. He's not trying to play any kind of mind games before we get into the draft or anything like that.
And that's what he wants you to think.
Well, yeah, possibly. So, why are we here tonight? Well, next week, WWE has announced that they are going to be starting their, I don't know if I'd call it an annual draft, because there has been years where they haven't done it at all, but they do have a draft where basically they can move some superstars around and they can create new storylines and things going forward. So, in that spirit, what I decided to do was to bring all these gentlemen here tonight, and we're going to do it ourselves. So, who would like to be Raw and who would like to be SmackDown?
Ooh.
Let's have. No. Let's have Rebellious Noise pick first. Let's have.
Okay.
See, I think between us, I always see Raw as the A show, but I know Rob's got a big soft spot for SmackDown proving itself. So I don't even know between us. What would you like to be? Mate?
Put it this way: SmackDown is always the underdog when it comes to things, and SmackDown always comes good. So I think
let's be the underdog. Let's be the underdog. They can be the A team.
Fair enough.
That's weird.
That's
Dom,
cool. I'm fine with that.
We have more of a connection to SmackDown with our pod, with you and I, the SmackDown host. But I don't mind.
Yeah.
We will channel our inner Dan Hargreaves tonight, Dom. That's what we'll do.
Indeed, we will, as tribute to the man who does the ultimate shift on Gimme a Hull, 3 hours every week, and then gets up to do a full day shift the day afterwards. So this is a tribute to Dan Hargreaves, who does our Monday Night Raw streams, and we will take Raw.
Right. Okay. So what we have is the Hull guys are going Raw. SmackDown is going to the RN Pro Wrestling. I'm going to keep it as RN because if I have to keep saying different names,
you could just say Rebellious Noise. Anything you like. Any one of them you want.
Whatever comes naturally.
Yeah, I was going to say something else there, but yeah.
I like Reb Noise. I always think it sounds cooler. I like Rebellious Noise is a great brand name and stuff. But for sure, if I want to be down with the kids, Reb Noise. I think Reb Noise.
But a lot of times people think we're saying red. And it's a bit confusing,
right.
And I'm like, no, not Red Noise.
Oh, Scott, I thought Reb Noise was your surname. Just I just thought Scott Reb Noise. I just,
I'm thinking about it, mate. Depot.
Do it.
What
Sam's just got money on your mind,
mate.
So Sam's just got money on his mind. That's where he's at.
Always. Money in the Bank's coming up in the UK. Of course it is.
Yeah, nice plug.
So, here we go. We've got our respective brands, and here are the rules. I've just kind of knocked this up, so apologies if it's a little bit difficult to read. But the gentleman did have this shared with them a couple of days ago, just to give them a little bit of a heads up. There is a slight amendment that they might not be aware of because I was asked outright, what about tag teams? So we'll get there. Let's go through it. So basically, we're going to have 12 rounds, and each round, the respective brands are going to get one pick each. Now, to keep things fair, and I know it says ABBA-style picks, that isn't any kind of Mamma Mia-style thing or anything we don't have to sing.
Thought we were going to sing before we chose our...
Okay. If you would like to, you're more than welcome to. How about you sing the entrance song for who you pick? You're more than welcome to do that. It's very entertaining for me at the very least. So what I mean by that is, say if Raw go first, SmackDown get the next pick in that round, but they also get the first pick in the next round after that. It just keeps things a little bit more fair. Otherwise, the same brand always gets first pick each round. So that's what is meant by ABBA-style picks. And then every member of the current active WWE roster is available. So anyone from Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, unless they are a champion, champions cannot be drafted. The reason for that is because at the moment, WWE are happy to have all the champions kind of go to different shows. And I think it'll get a little bit messy. So I will point out, though, Raw will have the US title. SmackDown gets the IC title. Those guys don't move, but world champions don't need to be kind of drafted in that way. So after we go through the draft, I'm then going to kind of just say, we'll have a bit of a chat and then fantasy book how you would go ahead with your picks and what you would do. And don't worry about commentary teams because we'll have a little mini kind of discussion on who you would pick to have as the voice of your show moving forward as well. So basically that's it. Tag teams, you can select them as one pick. If you would like to split them up, feel free to do so. You're more than welcome to do that as well. So the one thing I would like to discuss before we move any further, though, is stables, because right now in WWE, factions and stables are a big thing. I'm happy to go with the majority vote here. If you guys would like to pick a stable and all of said stable moves with them, that is absolutely fine, as long as we have a majority vote on that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think maybe if we have a set amount of like one round is a stable pick, maybe or something like that.
Okay.
Keeps it simple as well.
Well, what we'll do then is we'll make just to make things really interesting. We'll make round 2 the stable round.
Okay.
Cool. Right then. So because I believe the guys at Rev Noise selected their brand first, I'll do what they normally do, and I'll let Raw go first, which might be a little bit controversial. So, guys, who would you like to pick as your number 1 draft pick?
Oh, I love this. First pick, Sam. Sam, I put the pressure on you, didn't I? So,
All right,
yeah,
I know exactly who it is.
Yeah, go on.
I know exactly who it is. I'm having Bray Wyatt.
Oh.
Right, and there was a reason behind that, wasn't there?
There is a reason behind that. It's because, for starters, he's not the MVP there, but he's certainly one of them. It wasn't long ago that he was recognised as SmackDown's primary babyface before Cody kind of got over there and started doing his thing. Well, saying that Cody's technically Raw, but you know what I mean. Also, with the draft, we need confirmation that he's coming back, and the draft is a perfect time to do it. You're champing at the bit, Dom.
My main point, and those are all good points, but the time, 3 hours, man. You got 3 extra hours. You got an extra hour there. You got an extra hour there to tell for Bray to tell his crazy weird story. So that is why we picked Bray Wyatt to go to Raw, and that is why Bray Wyatt is our number 1 pick. Not because we're both fans, but because that's a solid number one pick.
Yeah.
So Bray Wyatt is going to Raw. SmackDown, your chance to pick your number 1 draft pick.
All right.
Oh.
What are you thinking, Rob? Because I'm thinking go straight for the top tier. We got to go headliners, right? So, in my opinion, I think we should go Cody Rhodes.
Ooh, see, I thought you were going somewhere else with that one.
I thought different, but if you want to go Cody, then I'm happy to do that. But I think there's someone else that should be a number 1 pick.
Okay, because we've had a bit of a discussion, all right? But I think that should be our next pick.
Okay. All right, we'll go Cody then. I'm happy to have Cody.
All right, we'll go Cody Rhodes, please, sir.
Cody Rhodes to SmackDown. That sounds like there was a little bit of a shock that Cody Rhodes might have been available there, and Scott's pounced. So number 1 draft picks of the 2023 draft is Bray Wyatt for Raw and Cody Rhodes for SmackDown. So before we go into what we're now dubbed as the unofficial stable or faction round, there are a few comments in. So obviously the guys here are saying hello. But there is also a very special guest in, which is Dean from Scenescape Shop, who is unofficially sponsoring the show today. So just to give you a little bit of a lowdown on what Dean does, he's actually a painter. He's an artist, and he's a very talented artist at that as well. A lovely guy. And basically, he paints landscapes. He also paints scenes from famous movies, and he also paints wrestling, either scenes or people as well. So definitely go check out his eBay page. He's also got an Etsy store. And also, if you really want to help him out, go sign up to his Patreon, because basically what he's told me is it works out a lot better for you financially if you want to get some art for your house and anything like that. So basically, when you sign up, you can actually get a free 5x7 print. So you can basically fill up your albums there. You can order bigger prints as well. Have a chat with him. He's happy to paint different things as well. He works off commission, so feel free to go commission him to paint whatever you want. But definitely go check out Scenescape Shop. He does Thursday coffee mornings, which are very relaxing to watch. So always happy to have Dean in. Hello, mate. Hope you're having a good night. I really appreciate it, because I know you've also got work at 4 a.m. So thank you very much for joining us. But now that I've done my plug-in and my sponsorship side of things, let's get back to business. So SmackDown, round 2, you now have the option to pick a faction or a stable to join your roster. Who are you picking?
Okay, before we jump into that, I just want to say it'd be lovely to get a painting of us and the whole year guys doing in the draft on the stage like the old school ones. That'd be cool.
Podiums, everything.
Yeah, on the podiums. Yeah, it's all right. I think again we've got to go big with this. Now I'm not sure how this is going to work, seeing as one of these members has a title, but I think you could say that for a few of these factions. But I think we're going Bloodline.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, being a big Uso fan, we either put it as we get them as a faction, or we take them later as a tag team.
Or you're picking the Usos either way, right? So
Well, yeah, exactly. So look, I'm happy to take Bloodline.
Bloodline.
How does
yeah,
that
big-
work with titles? Is that okay?
Yeah, so with the Bloodline, what that means is basically you've got the Usos and Solo
And
Sikoa
Solo.
as
Okay.
part of that.
That's cool.
I'll also throw in Paul Heyman because he is part of the
Nice.
Bloodline at the moment as well. So you also get Paul Lee thrown in for good measure, and with Roman being around with both the titles at the moment, obviously feel free
Jumping
that
over each show.
you can factor him into storylines, but also the guys from Gimme can factor him into storylines on Raw as well. But yeah, you have the entirety of the Bloodline in some way, shape, or form. Guys, that's a big one to lose out on. How are you going to respond over on Gimme Well,
so we don't have the Bloodline. The Bloodline is gone. Great pick. I just want to say that. But I feel like we have a good response, Sam.
Yeah, we do, because there's another major stable in WWE at the moment, major heel stable, who are doing a lot of good storylines and are full of talented guys and one very, very talented girl. Now, there's an issue with Rhea Ripley. Obviously, we're talking about Judgment Day. There's an issue with Rhea Ripley being the SmackDown Women's Champion, so we're tying at nicking your champion. But, oh well, we're having Judgment Day as our faction.
We'll switch champions, baby. Oh, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, the bloody New Day box did it with the Usos, didn't they?
I hated that. I hated that so much.
It was so kayfabe breaking, but it made for it fixed an issue, didn't it? But anyway, So final answer: we are going to go with the Judgment Day because after the Bloodline, they are the big premier stable.
So yeah, you guys have got Finn Balor, you've got Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley can go back and forward. Obviously, at the moment, if SmackDown decides to go for Bianca Belair, it might be easy just to swap the titles. We can discuss this later on. You also get Dominic Mysterio as well thrown in for good measure. So you guys have got quite a moody, dark kind of roster at the moment with Bray Wyatt and the Judgment Day going on. So I'm noticing a bit of a theme there.
Punk rock, baby. Punk rock
with the dirty goths of the wrestling scene.
Who was the tag team that complained when they did that angle where they just swapped titles? There was one tag team that really took umbrage. Was it like Ziggler and someone else, like Ziggler and Rude or someone?
Oh, right.
I think it was Ziggler and Rude, wasn't it?
Yeah, they called them like paper champions or something. So,
yeah.
Cool. So on to round 3, and we're back to you guys at Gimme Huya for Raw. So, who's going to be your next selection?
Can I do it, Dom?
Yeah, of course you can, mate.
Because I'm going to do it a certain way. Cover your ears, everybody. I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar. Like Paul Heyman. I was going to do it louder, but my wife's in bed.
Brock Lesnar. So why have you gone for Brock Lesnar?
Because he's the beast incarnate. Because he's bloody Brock Lesnar. Like, what more do you need? Like, you guys have got Roman and Cody. Am I right? No, we've got one of them.
Yeah, Roman and Cody.
Yeah, you've got both. You've got both. So we're having Brock, man. Like, I mean.
And in this context, the wrestling royalty draft, there's no we're not saying Brock has to be a part-timer. Me and Sam might have just handed Brock Lesnar a bunch of money to come back on a full-time schedule.
New contract. So, wow, well done, guys.
Yeah, so, we've paid him so much money. You're going to see him wrestle on main event. Well,
he's going to be on house shows. Brock's going to be in house shows. You know, he's in for the long haul. You know, on Raw.
You've managed to do what Vince McMahon couldn't do, and you've persuaded Brock Lesnar to show up on the hour before Raw. Amazing.
Congrats, guys.
Fair play. Good pick. So, SmackDown, how are you going to come back to a full-time Brock Lesnar?
I think there's only one person. Obviously, we were talking that we need someone big. Scott, I hope you don't mind me making the suggestion. Seth Rollins.
Go ahead. Yes.
It has to be Seth, right?
Yeah, Seth freaking Rollins, I think they call him these.
I mean,
days,
if we're in charge, can we just drop the
freaking? That's what we're doing. You're giving Brock a bigger contract. We're taking away the freaking. But we've got Seth Rollins either way.
Steady.
No, we support that. Get rid of the word freaking from his name. It's ridiculous. Get rid of it now. Thank you.
Give it to Brock.
Brock freaking Lesnar.
We'll trade you the freaking for Brock.
I kind of like it. I'm going to keep calling him that now.
Just in case anyone from YouTube is watching, they are saying freaking and nothing else there at all. Just
Yes,
want to point that
YouTube.
out. So Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and the Bloodline all over on SmackDown. There's some good rosters already been formed. That's with just 3 different round picks. So just making sure we've got Dean saying Lesnar's a great pick. Going to have to paint him tipping the ring at SummerSlam. So maybe factor that into your booking if he's going to tip any more rings or come to the ring on a tractor or something would be cool. So back to SmackDown. And we are in round 4. This is a third of the way through the draft, and things are picking up quite nicely here. So who are you going for next?
We're going to go for someone that can only be picked with just a simple word. I'm going to let Rob do it.
Yeah.
We're going for LA Knight.
Nice. Why LA Knight? That's quite high up for LA Knight. So
yeah, just because I think a lot of us have been saying for the past few months that, well, it might not go this way, but he definitely should be put into that upper echelon of the roster. And of course, rumors of Money in the Bank wins and stuff like that coming forward. And not to plug too much of my own stuff, but we were chatting about this on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel the other day, that it is a possibility that he'll become Mr. Money in the Bank. But at the same time, there is that other side of it of, well, really? They didn't even use him on Mania. So it's a bit of a strange place as far as the actual WWE booking is going. But I think we're going to take advantage of the real kind of heat and excitement that's behind him at the moment. And we're going to strap that rocket to him that WWE need to do. So if they're not doing it, we're going to take over and do it ourselves.
Very nice, very nice. And LA Knight, he's a hot topic. And by the way, feel free to plug as much as you want. I watched that. You made some great points in there about his age and whether he would be successful in the cash-in. Would it be on Roman Reigns? It's a great discussion, to definitely go check out the channel there for Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling. You can find them on Twitter. You can see some Twitter handles going on. So feel free to follow and watch that video and any other videos that these guys do. And I'm sure the guys on Raw are going to plug their SmackDown plug, which is a show that's coming up, which is really confusing. But over to you guys on Raw. How are you going to respond to, yeah, dummy, yeah?
I think they're reading our text messages, because we had literally just went LA Knight, yeah, and then you guys did it. So I think they've somehow infiltrated our WhatsApp group. But anyway, we are going to go. Are we ready to drop our next champion, Dom?
Absolutely, absolutely, mate. Go for it.
We were going for somebody, but then we've decided we're going to go for this person instead, because it makes sense for at least us to have this person, you to have the other. So we're going to go for the United States champion, Austin Theory.
You don't need to go for the champs, guys. The champs are already
that's
included.
What I thought. That's what I just I did just message because I was like, I'm sure
really?
that was the rule. It's okay. We've got a backup for that. Don't worry, we've got a backup for it. Do you want me to pick this one, Sam?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, mate. Okay, we're going Becky Lynch.
Oh!
Are you sure you're not reading our chat?
Are we all in the same one? Is that what's going on?
So, controversially, you're splitting up a married couple, not only just a married couple, but a couple that has a child who are now going to have to do Mondays and Fridays.
Hey, man, we've got enough money to give Lesnar a full-time schedule. So, we've got enough money. We've got
you ain't got money for
full-time
Crash as well.
No.
Yeah.
No, this amount of money is more important than their kids. They saw this money and they thought, nah, screw the kid. This is we're never going to see this much in our lifetime. Sorry, kid.
I've got that Tony Khan budget to sort that baby out. You know what I mean? That baby's gonna have a good life. Gonna have a good life under my care.
He's going to be in an eye for an eye match first and then get dropped off at an orphanage. That's what's going on. Anyway, sorry. Oh, that was dark, wasn't it?
Jeez. You got very passionate about not splitting up the couple, paying for crashes and things at the backstage. So fair play. You've got a massive budget over at Raw. Becky Lynch. Actually, before we talk about Becky Lynch, you were very quick to try and get Austin Theory. What was your thought process behind that? Because it's interesting to see Austin Theory having fans here.
Well, I misunderstood. I'm a massive Austin Theory fan, and Dom and I actually won some money because of Austin Theory at WrestleMania, didn't we, Dom? Well, you won some money and then donated some to me. But anyway, so I think my thinking was just he's a champion. He's got a belt on him, so let's get him. That were it really. That was what I was thinking. But then I was corrected, and we went with Becky Lynch.
No, fair enough. So that does bring us to Becky Lynch. And what's the thought process behind getting Becky? She's the first women's wrestler who's been drafted outright. I know obviously Rhea is included or kind of part of Judgment Day as well, but being a champion, we'll sort that mess out later. Becky, in her own right, was the first one picked. So why Becky Lynch?
It's a great question. A great question. Obviously, you mentioned our dark roster. Obviously we have those personalities there, and that is by design. We want to appeal to the alternative community with our roster and the alternative wrestling fan. But Becky is the potential face of Raw going forward, or one of the faces that we have in mind alongside Brock Lesnar. But Becky has that world-renowned appeal, of course, and can do great work for promoting Raw as the continued A show in this context. With Becky Lynch on the roster, we are assured to get those ratings in every week.
Good pick. And
I'm taking this too seriously, aren't I?
No.
I knew you would. I
love it. Before we go on to round number 5, we just a couple of comments. Dean is talking about LA Knight here when he said, wish they'd utilize him at Mania. Want to see more of him on TV. Yeah. You can actually see him tonight on SmackDown. I believe he has. It's really confusing. I think they'd called a rematch with Xavier Woods at one point and then didn't realize that they actually had him booked. Woods is against Gunther, isn't he, for the IC title? See how all that goes tonight when the lads over on Gimme have their SmackDown stream. Follow them, and I'm sure it will all be resolved. I've just realised it's quite funny because, like in Monsters Inc., the comments cover up Sam's face at the bottom. So apologies for that.
You're going to lose viewers every time that happens.
Yeah, I apologise. And then Martin B, evening lads. Hello, Martin. It's great to have you on, and really good to have seen you in Mania, and hopefully see you next week for the Love of Wrestling convention that they've got up in Manchester as well. So nice to see you. And Dean is loving Dom in full GM mode. So keep it going, mate. Don't apologise for anything. So we are up to number 5, and I believe we're back to Raw. So guys, where are we going for number 5?
Sam, you want to take this one?
I'll take this one because I'm a massive fan, so that's fine. Yeah, we're going to go with the almighty Bobby Lashley.
Ooh, good pick. Man. Good pick.
It's a great pick.
And our reasoning is he's a former pretty much everything champion. I don't think he's held the Universal, but right now they're one and the same with the WWE. So, like, Bobby is the guy they put the title on when they're between champions. That sounds really reductive because he's so good. He's a former Bellator guy as well, but he's just awesome. He's reliable. He puts on fun matches. He's a big star. He's a big guy. He can do some damage. He's the sort of guy we want on there, and he's got unfinished business with Bray Wyatt.
Great pick.
And Brock as well, actually.
Yeah, you got some big meaty men there. So let's see if there will be some slapping of meat across on Raw. Let's go across to SmackDown before things get any weirder and I put my foot in my mouth. Guys, take it away.
I mean, if you've come to us to not be weird, then go back to Raw again because
So we of course I let out a bit of a squeal there when you mentioned Becky because I agree. I don't think she's been used in the best way lately, and she hasn't been that exciting lately. But yeah, the appeal and the kind of the brand of Becky Lynch, she's always possibly there to become the biggest star in the company once again. So got to lose that. But Rob, we've got a good plan B, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, ideally, I would have gone for Plan A. That's not to.
That's why you call it a Plan B.
That's why we have a Plan B. As Triple H says, there's always a Plan B.
Exactly.
Do you want me to announce it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're picking Bayley.
Yeah, again, another person that's not being used in the way that I think potential would suggest. But hey, again, could be.
Well, you might bring back the inflatable arms.
We'll think about it.
Bailey buddies.
Yeah, that's it.
Didn't they get killed? They're dead.
Yeah, she stabbed them, didn't she?
Yeah.
They've been Eric Young'd. They're not coming back.
I mean, to be fair, she could just go to a car lot in America and just steal a couple because that's pretty much where
Just
they're
new
from
ones,
anyway.
Yeah.
Very nice. So Bailey is the first pick for SmackDown in terms of any kind of female representation at all. So it'd be interesting to see how we bulk out the roster on the women's side for SmackDown. And let's stay with SmackDown, who are going to take us to pretty much the halfway point when we enter round number 6. Who are you guys going for?
All right, so I think it's time for us to step into the tag team picks as well. So we're going to go for, well, there's an injury in the way of this at the moment, but we're assuming they haven't got too long to wait out on the shelf. And therefore, we're going to go for RK Bro.
Ah, that was God damn it.
Well, it seems like you've upset Dom over on Raw, and that's would have been a popular pick. So, RK Bro, I'm presuming because you get 2 heavy hitters who can be single action as well as tag team. But please tell me if I'm wrong or expand on that if you'd like to. Why RK Bro?
Pretty much exactly what you said there. Gives us a bit of flexibility of Randy coming back. We don't really know where it's going to go. Of course, it could go in a Cody Rhodes direction, which we've also thankfully got as well. So there's a few things we could do with RK Bro.
Maybe a little heel turn, or breaking them up at some point. It's options.
Who knows?
Very nice. Well, I'm intrigued to see where that plan would have gone for Raw. So over to you guys to bring us to the halfway point exactly.
Yeah, I was gutted because that was my next pick for sure. But we've got it. Well done, guys. You're on the chat with us, but we have a backup, don't we, Sam?
And that is the New Day. Oh, I should have gone with. I felt that, boys. I felt that for you. I should have gone with who will it be? But yeah, that's who it will be. Pancakes and cereal. We're gonna
always a good pick, those guys, no matter what they're doing at the time and no matter what year it is. Always a good pick for those guys.
They're money, and we've got all the money, so that's what.
There you go.
Brings a little fun to the brand as well.
So
yeah, moving away from the goth theme, we've now got
we've got colourful cereal.
Yeah,
we're only doing it because we're gonna have a rematch between Kofi and Brock, where Brock's gonna kill Kofi again. So there we go.
Oh well, let's wait on the fantasy booking. So with New Day, just to clarify, with that one, you are picking Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods in one fell swoop.
Yes,
very nice.
Oh, is that okay though? Because I don't mean to be controversial, guys, but is that not stable?
Well, initially we picked
Freebird rules, bro.
I hate the Freebird rules.
yeah. There you go. In our initial plan, it was Woods and Kofi with the intention to bring Big E in at a time when he was capable of coming back. But yeah, Freebird rule, baby. So we're just gonna use that.
All right, can our next pick be the Freebirds themselves? Who else uses the Freebird rule? Anyway.
Just the New Day these days. I think, hang on, someone else has done it. If you didn't, Becky Lynch,
Trish, and
Trish did it, didn't they? Yeah, and it was like, my God. But anyway, it's
first of all, we are halfway through. But before we kind of go through who's on who's at the moment, I will just point out, when you picked Bailey, and I don't know if it was just because you didn't know if you could pick another faction, would you have picked Damage Control as a whole, or would you have stuck with just Bailey?
If we can pick another faction, then I guess we'd take them.
So my counter here to keep everyone happy and this kind of moving very freely is, guys, I will allow you to have New Day as all 3 of them in one go.
Trio,
if you allow the guys on Red Noise to claim Damage Control as a whole.
That's fine. I think Damage Control are totally finishing up soon anyway. Someone's going to turn on.
Not for us. We're using them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good. Excellent organization here, Sporsy. I just want to say you're keeping everything. You're keeping us from ripping each other's faces off. This is good. We're all playing nicely right now, so it's good.
I am nothing but fair. I'm trying to be a moderator so everyone leaves at the end happy.
Very good.
So let's have a look on Raw so far, and this is from rounds 1 to 6. We have Bray Wyatt, We have the Judgment Day in its entirety. We have Brock Lesnar. We have Becky Lynch. We have Bobby Lashley. And we have all 3 members of the New Day. And over on SmackDown, they have a roster that is currently building that consists of Cody Rhodes, the Bloodline, Seth Rollins, LA Knight. Guys, come on, you know what you're supposed to do when someone says LA Knight.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then Damage Control, and that's all 3 members of Damage Control there, as well as RK Bro. So moving forward, because there's actually those numbers in terms of who's on who's is kind of building very nicely. You've both got a very similar amount of people on both. So yeah, we're going to go through to the next half. Before we do that, would you guys like a chance to plug anything that you've currently got that you'd like to shout about? So we'll let the guys at Reb Noise tell us what we should be following you, or what people should go check out on.
Cool. Yeah. So, like we say, yeah, we're the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel, but we're a whole kind of network as well, do other kind of stuff. But you're probably watching this most interested in wrestling, so that's fair enough. Watch our wrestling channel if that's the case. Yeah, just like the other guys, really. We do a lot of similar content. They do a lot more of like watch-alongs and things like that. I ain't got the stamina for that anymore, guys. But we do a lot of build-up shows for the PLE, which I am very proud of as well. It's a nice opportunity for us to kind of, we always say, get ourselves and yourselves hyped up for the pay-per-view, PLE, whatever you call it these days. And it reminds me of being a kid. It reminds me of watching the Sky Box Office 15-minute preview 17 times in a row to get hyped up for a show, you know? So that's what I had in mind when we first started doing it. And of course, we've kind of branched out and started having some of your good selves on as well. And it's been a real blast. So if anything, I'd say please check out our channel. Of course, the interviews we've got on there as well. Really proud of those. But going forward, I'd say keep an eye out for our build-up shows, because they are some of the most fun ones to be a part of.
Very nice. And just to counter, how do you? Well, sorry guys, Gimme Hill. Yeah, what would you like to plug? What would you like to shout about?
Well, like I say, I want to use this time to again shout out the lovely people at Rebellious Noise, because I wouldn't have been able to do such good work at Clash if it wasn't for people like Scott and people like yourself, Andy. So I do want to say, even though there are opponents tonight, and even though you're the host, and this isn't to curry favor, this is just to publicly say that I appreciate you, both of you guys, and what you do as well, and the effort you put into it. And thank you for having us on. But yeah, aside from that, we have our live streams. Mondays hosted by Dan Hargreaves. Wednesdays hosted by Anthony Nayland, co-founder of the Gimme a Whole Year Wrestling podcast. And Fridays we have SmackDown. So almost directly after this, myself and Sam will be doing SmackDown over on Gimme a Whole Year. We have also got some interviews with AEW, Impact Wrestling, WWE stars, which we have since moved over to WrestleSphere. That's WrestleSphere.com. And we're going to be doing exclusive interviews over on that platform. I think that's good, Sam. Is that good? Did I do okay? Have I got everything?
Yeah, he knows I'm the PR boy. But yeah, yeah, like WrestleSphere it's like I said before, Give Me a Whole Year is our podcast. It's where we can be ourselves, be a little bit cheeky, be a little bit naughty, have a bit of fun, and share our opinions, really. Because where it comes to WrestleSphere, which is an arm of SoundSphere, which is an empire Dom has built all on his own in the music world, but because there's so much wrestling content on SoundSphere, it's just made sense to make a new brand and make WrestleSphere. We want that to become a really important place for wrestling interviews, not just with WWE, AEW, and Impact, but with the British indie scene as well. That's really something we want to build and cultivate. We haven't got a huge amount of interest in being a dirt sheet or anything like that. We just want to talk to the guys, find out who they are as people, discuss their careers with them, and that's what we want to be as WrestleSphere. But Give Me a Whole Year, which is our podcast, that'll be going live at 1 a.m. tonight. British time, British summer time. We'll be covering SmackDown. It'll be me and Dom. You guys are welcome to join us if you want, although there'll be a lot of us.
We do have a special guest tonight. Yes, we have a special guest who we all met at WrestleMania outside the arena, who is coming in. So it'll be a brand new face to the Gimme a Whole Year family. So come and check it out.
Yes, please.
Very nice, and I'm sure it'll be a good one, because I believe there's 3 championship matches tonight over on SmackDown. So definitely worth going and following those guys along at 1 a.m. They will try their
Please-
best to keep you
Please
awake.
support us. Yeah, please support us. Please come along.
You might keep them awake. They'll keep you awake. You'll have a great time. I'll see what I'm doing in terms of like whether I can stay up that long and try and support the guys as well. But it's great to have all four of you guys on. You're all friends of the show, and it's nice to see the British journalism or British reporting for wrestling all coming together and having a good time. So thank you very much for spending your Friday evening with us. And yeah, speaking of independent wrestling in the UK, I'm sure you guys are very aware, or hopefully are aware, North Wrestling, shout out to those guys up in Newcastle. They've just announced their biggest show of the year is coming up in, I believe it's July, and that's over at the Walker Dome. And they have called it Thunderstruck. I did say on Twitter that they should have called it Thunderdome because I don't think anyone's used that in wrestling yet. So I'm sure they wouldn't get copyright infringe on anything to do with Thunderdome. But they have also announced that they're going to have Scotty 2 Hotty and Gangrel. So if you guys are fans of the Attitude Era, definitely worth going seeing those guys who are still in phenomenal shape and can definitely still go. So yeah, shout out to North Wrestling. Hoping to do a little bit more of those guys moving forward, which you might even see possibly over on WrestleSphere as well. Who knows? So we are in the second half of the draft. So we've gone through it, and someone's cracking open a cold one. I love that.
That's me, but you can't see me though because of Screen Cape Shops.
First to Steve Weiser.
Yeah, there you go.
Just screen. I'm glad you kind of picked a cause because I wouldn't have wanted anyone to. I was going to drink a Bud Light on screen and thought I better not because I might get cancelled. But what I did show you there was a comment from Dean, who's thrown his support behind Raw so far. So SmackDown guys, how do you feel about the first comment really there about being Raw has got the good lineup?
Hey, look, I can't disagree with it. At this stage, we've got some heavy hitters on both sides, so it is where it is. I don't know about Stone Cold Rock and Taker showing up. You know, I think that's a bit of a pipe dream. But hey, I agree. Good roster, guys.
Well, they've got all the money, so we never know what's going on now, do we?
We're a little engine that could.
Andy, you're going to kill me because this happens nearly to me at least once a stream. Would you be able to just take me off for a moment so I can let this stupid cat in the second attempt?
I can, but that leaves Dom in charge of your next pick. So
no, I'll be back in a moment. He knows what to do. We've got WhatsApp. He knows what to do.
All right.
It's all good.
So,
he's in charge. He's in charge,
not
me. I just work here.
I've been briefed.
Right,
I've been briefed.
Cat out.
Cool. Right.
You know what? We can make it fair because I need to go to the toilet.
Oh, here we go. So we're down to a one-on-one. We're down to
so Rob, how's it going there, man? How you finding this?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. You know, if you want to kill a bit of time, it's taking me back to the times when I was sitting in front of a PlayStation 2 and making my own Raw and SmackDown brands, and letting them loose and seeing what I could do. So it's really nice. It's really fun to be able to do it as, I would say, a mature adult, but I would just say as an adult. How are you finding it?
I love it, man. I love it. Actually, it's given me an opportunity to plug something, but before I do that, it is a lot of fun. And like I say, great idea, Andy, and great, idea for a stream and well organized because it's a lot of fun. It puts me in, and Sam in a position that we, that we haven't been in before, live on stream right here on Wrestling Royalty, doing a draft. And on that note, because I feel like it's an opportunity to plug it, and Anthony, who does our AEW streams, has been putting a lot of hard work into a WWE 2K23 women's only draft using the GM mode. Was back off it. He's booking an entirely women's roster on WWE 2K23 right now, and he's put so much effort, so much time into that. He's currently getting his flat ready to move and everything, so he's putting extra time in to do it. People have been really great. So if you guys want to check out, if anybody looks back at this, watches it back, likes 2K23, likes the GM mode, or is interested in giving it a go, Anthony has done a cracking job booking an entirely female roster on the GM mode of the new WWE 2K23 game.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well,
that's
very nice.
Cheap plug.
So I know you just did a very nice, professional plug there, and unfortunately, Dean's come in and said last time Dom was left in charge, I ended up naked in a phone box in Amsterdam. handcuffed to a garden gnome. I'm
Well,
not going to
well,
give you the opportunity to say if that's true or not. We're just going to move on very quickly.
Should have been.
What
at
we'll
Denny's,
can't wait to do it
that's all I'm
again.
gonna say. Should have
I
been
can't
at
wait to do
Denny's.
it again.
You think that's bad? Should have been in Denny's. Like, I don't think we can even go back.
We don't talk about Denny's on
That's
any
true.
channel. Denny's is the fishing trip of Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it.
Martin in the comments. You were there, Martin. You better stay quiet. I know where you live, Martin.
Yeah, we'll know who talked. Also, speaking of the GM mode, I will lay out a challenge because I have now kind of got all the right equipment. Anthony, I will challenge you to a GM mode of cross platforms if you would like Wrestling Royalty to go head to head with Gimme on WWE 2K23. The challenge is there. It's laid down. We will talk. We will get things going if we can. So, Anthony, bring it on.
Is that men
I
and
love
women or
that.
just women's?
Just where we, yeah. Go on. What is it? What are you doing, Bobby?
The challenge wise.
Oh, we'll challenge you with everything. Let's make it interesting.
Okay.
We'll just have every. We'll have to do men and women's just to try and make it interesting on that front as well. And also the whole women's side of things. I feel like Anthony's absolutely nailing that on that stream. So he's doing some good work across there. While Scott is coming back into shot right now, we've got Motor Talk Wrestling. So hello to Motor Talk Wrestling. I see Schism being drafted to Raw, debuting with Wyatt and Bliss as the Wyatt 6.
Ooh.
Maybe. Let's see. That's a big faction
man.
if you decide. We are so far yet to have any NXT guys join us. So yeah, that could be an interesting one. I've also realized because of how people have come back, we now have a different layout on the screen. So this is going to mess with my mind a little bit.
You can throw them.
Oh, you tell me. You tell me.
Just drag me and go whoop.
Hey. As you
now we got to drag
Scott.
Let
Put
go,
me back on bottom. Put me back on bottom. Let's be honest. That's where I belong, probably. So
there we go.
Reading
now
to
I
that
feel
one,
bad.
What I probably should have done is like stuck myself in the middle, and then I don't feel like I'm actually on anyone's side.
Oh, that's it.
There we go. Right. Okay. We're good. We're good. So let's move on. And I believe, am I right in saying it's back to it's Raw's pick now, right?
Yes.
Yes, I
Yes.
believe you are right. Yes. Go on, Sam. You know what we're doing.
Woo! We're having Charlotte Flair.
I thought it was Rick then. I was
Sure.
like, whoa,
That's
that's a shout.
How much are you paying for that?
I haven't once thought of Charlotte. That's a great call.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. Like, regardless what anyone says about her, and I'll defend her to the moon. She can go in the ring. She's an absolute star. She's got that pedigree. She's held every title a zillion times. Charlotte Flair is if you to make a female wrestler in a lab, it would be Charlotte Flair. She's phenomenal. She's brilliant. It was the right call, her putting over Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. She's fantastic. She's a credit to the business. Charlotte Flair, please. Gonna cost us a lot of money though, this one, Dom.
I agree. Yeah, it's fine, but we're not worried about it, man.
She rides in limousines, in planes, all sorts of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like
helicopters into WrestleMania 35.
Yeah,
the budget expands over on Raw. It's straining a little bit. So let's go to the to SmackDown. Who are they going to splash the cash here, or are they going to bring up someone from NXT? What's going on, guys? Who you going for now?
Yeah, go on, Scott. I'll let you because obviously I picked the second pick.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so it kind of is a splash the cash situation because we don't know what's going on with the contract in real life, but we're going for Drew McIntyre.
Oh, God damn it!
we're still doing pretty good, mate. I'm not worried.
Yeah, boys, they got our next pick, Sam.
Oh God, David Dom.
Back down, you
Oh no!
Just think, if we come over to if we bring SmackDown to the UK and we do a PLE, maybe we can make him the champion where he rightfully should be.
Could do.
Where's Hollywood Dan when I need him?
Dom's fully popped me there with that reaction, and I kind of just wish there was a screen that you could have put your fist through or something because that would have just made my evening complete.
Could have been a SmackDown fish. That's ours.
Oh yeah, amazing! Yeah, you can bring that back if you want.
We'll bring that back. Yeah.
SmackDown. I believe we stay with you for the next pick before we move back to Raw. Who's coming next?
you want me to take the reins on this one?
Yeah, you go ahead, mate.
Yep.
You got a good reason for it as well. So
Look, so SmackDown, as we like to call it, is the land of opportunity. Yes, I'm stealing it.
Wait
I think-
a second. Can I just point out that Dom is eating his fist in anticipation here? So just to draw
don't worry,
attention to that.
it won't be anyone that's on your list.
Listen, look, I think it's perfect. He's someone that should be there.
I
and
like
it's
it,
perfect
but-
SmackDown guy. So, as I said, SmackDown's a land of opportunity. It's someone that's underutilized, they're underused, and they deserve an actual push because I think they could be a fantastic, and I would say intercontinental champion. Maybe would look at something like that. But we are bringing in Chad Gable.
Gable.
Love it,
Thank
love it.
you.
Excuse, please.
And he's not doing that, by the way. He's being a proper guy. We're not having that gimmick.
No, I want him to have that for a little bit, but we'll talk about it.
I know it pops me. I hated it. Do you know when he started doing it? Just to tangentialize.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When he started doing it, I hated it. The shoes and thank you. I hated it. And then it just slowly, it's like broken Matt Hardy. It slowly got over with me, like some kind of hypnosis. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's great. I'm all for it. Look, again, talking about real life, I think it's probably going to hopefully turn him into a babyface where he can tweak the character a bit more. But hey, that's a bit of fantasy booking, so we'll think about that as well.
Chad Gable, I was actually really surprised at how over on WrestleMania weekend. Like, I know he was kind of building, but then like on SmackDown, he was getting some like huge ovations, and then that tag match, which was very good on night one. Apart from having to see the sweat marks on Otis or Otis, whatever you want to call him, that was slightly awkward. But yeah, Chad Gable's he's seems each week he's getting more and more popular. So it's really nice to see as well because he is genuinely talented. And on that WrestleMania weekend, him doing that German suplex was probably one of my big moments. I was fully in for that. So so great to see.
Great pick.
Dean loving that pick as well. Love Chad Gable. We've had a couple of others. So Motor Talk Wrestling is still kind of going down that route, and I think he's hoping for
he's
some
on
big
our side
here.
He's on our
It
side.
would
Motor
make
Talk Wrestling.
sense.
We've got Wyatt, we've got Judgment Day, so we're nearly at your picks. Yeah,
it would make sense. Imagine that crowd pop, everyone wearing red and white masks with the 6 on their jacket, attacking the Judgment Day. He also said, I see Seth Rollins being drafted to SmackDown, challenging Gunther for the IC title belt. Seth Rollins has been drafted on this draft, so it'd be interesting to see if those guys book that. And finally, look, I know he should have faced Roman Reigns, but let's not do that just yet. Maybe next WrestleMania if The Rock isn't coming. Not quite sure who that one's in relation to. So
is that Seth?
It's got to be Chad Gable. Chad Gable. I choose to believe it's about Chad.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad going to Philly and seeing Chad Gable against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, but I'd love to see how they would get there. Oh, Seth Rollins. Good shout, to be fair. Seth Rollins can kind of go against anyone on the roster and have a good match, as was shown on Raw when he had a great match against The Miz. So I'm not saying The Miz is bad or anything, but that's probably the longest match that The Miz has been able to enjoy. Obviously, took a people's elbow from Snoop Dogg before that. So, it's a bit of an upturn in form for him. So, guys, over to Raw. How are you going to reply to Chad Gable being picked?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, Andy. I was going to crack a joke then of going, there goes the money, but it was, I missed my cue, but I'm doing it anyway.
Scott will have you there if you go down any kind of Shane McMahon bashing.
Oh, come on. I love sweaty old men as much as anyone else. but right. So we're going to have to ask for some goodwill from the other side now. Again, we've got deep pockets, so we can help you out if you want. But, what we want is we want to pick Sheamus. However,
what are you doing, Sam? What are you doing?
Relax.
Don't give. What is going on?
You actually okayed this.
Let's pull it in apart, Scott.
You okayed this.
Don't tell them we want to pick a guy and then pick somebody else. They're going to pick the guy.
They're not.
You don't do that. What are you doing?
See, if I had control, I'd take it off. But I don't have
Hold up. Were you about to go? Were you about to do what I think you were going to do and say we wanted to pick Sheamus, but we're picking this guy? Is that what you're
we are
about to
having
do?
no, Diva Dom. If you relax, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're having Sheamus, Andy. We're having Sheamus, please. Because
Don't
you know,
tell
because
him.
he puts on banger after banger. But what we'd also like to do, and this isn't our future pick because we're not actually that arsed, is we'd like the other side to agree to give us the Brawling Brutes with them because we think they're interchangeable, and we'll then give them some goodwill if they do something similar.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, well,
Yeah, you
look,
see. Yeah,
when
you
we
see.
when we picked Drew, I was always thinking, do we go Sheamus next? I was, you know,
course you were.
but it's just a bit of a pain that you've took him. But at the same time, I'm willing to, if Rob's okay with it, I'm willing to give them the Brutes as well. We're not going to use them unless it was to be spiteful. I mean, realistically, what feud are we going to put those two in? You know, maybe
That's what I'm thinking.
we could do something with the Bruiserweight, but that's a lot of booking. I can't bother doing that, mate.
And there's a lot of rehabbing.
That's
to
the
get him
spirit
back to
on
that stage.
SmackDown.
I'm just saying, we got a lot of things to book anyway. Trying to
There you go,
rebook
Dom.
Pete Dunne's career trajectory, I can't be bothered right now. Let's do that another day.
Well, I just
All
think right now those two are wasted on either roster without being with Drew. They're both great in their own right, but they need to come with Drew as well. I was going to say lackeys, but the baby faces. So we'd like the three of them as one unit. Freebird rules.
Sheamus,
Sheamus.
Yeah.
And also I like the idea of getting Sheamus away from Drew and even Gunther, dare I say, and doing something fresh, something new with him. Maybe have him take down Austin Theory or something. I don't know.
Oh, it does give them the opportunity to do New Day, but that's too. Oh, I don't know about that. But we've given it away. Go on, guys. You can have it.
Thank you. There you go. That your goodwill will be reciprocated.
But not quite yet. And I believe what Dean's referring to here is he's loving the feud between the GMs of Raw, and he kind of wants to see this. So I don't know if we've got a little bit of in-house fighting going on and then booking going on. So yeah, interesting to see how this develops over the next few rounds before we finish off the actual draft. Motor Talk Wrestling's in saying Chad Gable versus Bron Breakker, who's a name who we might see from one of you guys before the end of the draft. Chad Gable versus Bron Breakker for the next person to challenge Austin Theory for the United States title would be interesting. I mean, I'd be interested in pretty much anything that Chad Gable does at the moment. So absolutely. And Bron Breakker, let's see if he in real life does get called up for the main roster. I think he's in with a good shout. Yeah, probably would do a good introduction and steal the show. Or Gable and Bron as a new tag team would make the tag division interesting too. Some interesting fantasy booking going on here. And as heels, why not? Let's see if Bron Breakker makes it in here because one half of that has already been taken by SmackDown. However, for round 9, we are starting with the boys from Raw again. I believe it's your next pick.
Oh, and we have got a pick. We've got such a good pick. We are going to go with a guy because again, you guys have got LA Knight. Go on.
Yeah.
And we feel like we need a mouthpiece, a nice, loud, heelish, fresh face to really generate some heat. And we're going to go to NXT for this next pick because I don't think this guy needs an NXT title run or anything like that. And there's one obvious NXT guy that everyone's going to go for, but I think the MVP of NXT who needs to be on Raw ASAP is Grayson Waller. And we're having him next.
Mm-hmm.
Just money. And not like Mercedes money. No, she's great. I love her.
Grayson Waller, first pick from NXT. A very interesting one because obviously Bron Breakker is available. So he would have, I've had him quite high up. But obviously not at the moment. But Grayson Waller is a great pick. He had a fantastic match against Johnny Gargano at Stand and Deliver in Los Angeles. So great pick there and one to kind of, I guess, build for the future potentially. So it'd be interesting to see how you book him on your next few shows after when we get to the end of this. So SmackDown, what would you like to do next?
So we're trying to keep our arguments off air.
No, put them on. It makes better viewing. Come on, guys.
Hey, had a happy ending.
Hey, we'll get to what that's about.
Sam
in a
always
bit.
gives me a rough ride, but a happy ending. You know, we always
It
have
always
a rough,
ends. Yeah.
go. You know,
Is this 9 for us as well?
This is number 9 for you guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
9 for us. Just trying to figure out what else we've. Okay. Just so that we don't all forget about it, we're hoping to cash in our favor by taking Imperium exclusively with Gunther. Gunther is brand exclusive because of it.
I'm going to agree.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's
To
brilliant.
be fair, you
booking
get
on your
Gunther
part.
anyway because he's the
Brand
SmackDown
exclusive.
IC. Yeah. So I was going to say, if that is you reciprocating the favor, we're more than happy to give you Imperium. It makes sense. Go for it. It's all yours.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So
Do you agree, Dom?
Yeah, I do. Big like you. That's a brilliant bit of booking by SmackDown.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely can't fault that.
Excellent. So currently in tag team wise, you've got the Usos or the Bloodline over on SmackDown and Imperium. Obviously, you've got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn who aren't going to be drafted here because they can kind of go between both shows as the tag team champions currently. Over on Raw, tag team wise, you've got the members of the Judgment Day who you've got any kind of combination that you'd like out of that. You've also got the New Day and the Brawling Brutes. So the tag teams are kind of stacking up a little bit here. So we're going to stick with SmackDown, who after picking Imperium, where are you going to go next?
Scott, we've got a bit of a list that we've compiled.
All right, let's go with. Should we do the female one now, or do we do the?
It's entirely up to you.
Okay, because
I'm happy with the list, other than someone else that we've got.
Okay, yeah. But that's I just realized we haven't got enough picks for that one anyway. So we'll go with a female star. This is where we had our argument off air. So if you're okay, let me go ahead with it, Rob. I want to go for Zelina as our female star. I think someone has a lot of potential to be a solo wrestler, but never really been used in that way. Great as a manager, don't get me wrong, but I always think about her via Trinidad running TNA and stuff like that. So I think she'd be fantastic as someone going towards Bayley, is why I'm trying to bring her on. Rob was trying to go down the NXT route, and I don't want to be harsh about some of the names he mentioned, so I won't say who they were, but basically my call was I'd rather not have nobodies. I want someone that could potentially be a star quickly. So as much as a lot of those people in NXT saved the Royal Rumble and put on a great show, realistically, we've got a ready-made star in Zelina. So I'd like to use her over any other woman in NXT.
Very interesting. And I am very interested to see that you used Imperium because I said tag teams were fine and you would have had Gunther. You've picked Zelina. Was there a reason why your favor was never to call in the LWO?
Just because I think Gunther is the most exciting prospect of the mid card at the moment, so I don't want to miss that opportunity. So that's why it was an exclusivity kind of request, really.
Fair enough. And for round number 10, guys on Raw, what would you like to do?
Right, we're going to mix it up again. We have Grayson Waller, and we're happy we have him, and we've got big plans for him. Dom, you want to say something, mate?
No, I was going to say because we actually had another pick, but this one has opened up, and talking about big stars that could be made pretty quickly. I think we've got a good one.
We've got Brock Lesnar on ours, and we've got Lashley. We need this guy to feud with them. We just need him. We're having Bron Breakker. We're calling him up. He's ours. We honestly, nice. We know you guys are a gentleman. You wouldn't go for the tit for tat thing. But if you're not going for Bron after we went for Grayson Waller, we're having him.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. So before we get to the last couple of rounds we have left, there are a few comments going through. Just trying to see where we picked up. I believe when we're talking from Motor Talk Wrestling, we're talking about the upcoming draft for WWE in real life. I see Tyler Bate being drafted to Raw. That is a rumor that's going around. I believe that he will be called up to the main roster after having a very well received match against Dolph Ziggler on main event. I haven't managed to watch it yet. I don't know if anyone else has. I believe it's either on this week or next week's one on the network. No spoilers, please, because I am quite looking forward to seeing how that one plays out, because Tyler Bate's quite I don't mean this in any kind of derogatory way. He's quite a small guy compared to a lot of the rest of the roster. So it'd be interesting to see if he does get called up to the main roster, how he'd be presented, and would he kind of stick with this whole like Zen gimmick that he seems to have going on, or would they present him a bit more how he was when he won the NXT UK Championship tournament way back when? Feels like an absolute age ago that happened now. And I guess it's a whole other promotion and failed promotion ago anyway. So it'd be really interesting to see Tyler Bate being drafted up either to Raw or SmackDown. I personally believe he'd be better suited going to SmackDown. I think it's more of an opportunity on SmackDown for him to kind of find his feet there. But he's such a talent. I'm sure he'll be fine anyway. I see Nathan Fraser being drafted to Raw and Ricochet and Roxanne Perez. Nathan Fraser, I think he just started a new gimmick this week on NXT, which is a sort of like chat show host thing. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens. But Nathan Fraser, very excited, trained in Seth Rollins' wrestling school. So a lot of talent there. Very exciting. Ricochet and Roxanne Perez going to Raw. Possibly. Dragon Lee being drafted to SmackDown. I think Dragon Lee's probably going to stick around on NXT for a little bit longer because he's only just started there. Wesley dropping the belt soon after Battleground. I see him go to SmackDown, possibly. Is it Battleground? I thought Spring Breaking's coming up first, so it'll be interesting to see if he gets through that before Battleground in a month's time. I believe they've got another show that's not in Orlando, which is great to see NXT getting that opportunity. Tony D going to SmackDown. You're moving a lot of people away from NXT here. Who's
no one left?
Whoever's left, turn the lights out, apparently. And Pretty Deadly going to Raw. Those guys are very talented, and they have their own kind of niche gimmick, which I'd be interested to see how well it goes down on the main roster because they are very much a kind of like larger than life gimmick that I don't think we've seen on the main roster in a little while, and they're normally ones that get the ire of the social media fans anyway. So hopefully those guys can do well wherever they end up if it's not on NXT. Dean says draft Dom to SmackDown. I think this is in reference to the infighting that keeps going on. I'm not sure what the SmackDown guys would say about that.
It'd be a bit like Vince McMahon hugging Eric Bischoff, won't it? Like
draft Dom to NXT. Dom, you're being moved around all over the place here, mate.
I'll go everywhere.
Is this the first time you've seen Diva Dom? Diva Dom comes out every now and then, and
draft him to Total Divas. Then
we have to give him a time. We have to give him a time out sometimes.
Look,
a whole new side Dom.
I'm
Totally
sitting here
for
and
it.
we're working behind the scenes right here to get this right. All I'm saying is that Sam, you need to pull your weight, mate. When we get, we're gonna get this right. We gotta be on an even. It's all right here. It's all written down. What you're doing? Come on.
I stuck to the plan and I enhanced the plan. I'll have you know. That's
Can
what
we
I did.
get Diva Dom t-shirts? Is that a merch thing that you're gonna do? I mean,
You know what?
Diva Dom.
Look, we have the Gimme a Hull Yeah store, and I'm of the view now, right, that Hollywood Dan and Diva Dom need to happen. I mean,
that's a tag team in its own right, isn't it?
It just, I mean,
yeah.
and they're opposites to each other.
Yeah, Hollywood Dan happened because Dan changed in America. Dan, he became a different person.
Like Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. Like Sporsy knows this. Basically, Dan ate things that he doesn't eat in the UK in America. He tried new things for the first time to the point where his girlfriend back home didn't know who he was anymore. So we decided because she didn't know who this was anymore, we would call him Hollywood Dan. Because it's just a different person. So yeah, Holly, and it was basically he was like the Gimme a Hull Yeah's answer to Orange Cassidy. It was great. But Diva Dom, you don't see Diva Dom very often. Just when people don't do their job properly.
he's like the demon.
He's the flipping fiend.
Demon Diva Dom. I love it. Or you can have a hashtag give Diva Dom a chance. That would be even better.
We do need to stick it on a t-shirt because I'd buy it. Like I honestly, we do because it's Hollywood Dan, which is basically him with the shades on. Let's do it, and let's do Diva Dom. Let's just get a picture of you throwing something. I don't know.
Well, we could wear them. We could wear them to Money in the Bank as well and get it over with the British public as when we're
That's
there.
what I'm thinking.
Good
Yeah.
idea.
Like I was going to be head to toe in WrestleSphere gear, but
you did great, mate. You did great. You were on it. You were on the promo. It was awesome.
Oh, I
It was
never
good.
stopped.
You had the hat on. every day in like the LA weather when it was good and not like Yorkshire, because it was like Yorkshire part time with all the wind.
It was great.
You know, when it was hot, Sam was there in his but you know, in his thick WrestleSphere hood.
It's
his
quite
cap.
thin, actually.
Is it comfy?
It's quite nice. It's quite. Yeah, well, it never. Yeah, it didn't come off for about a week, did it?
Not in that way. Not in that way. No, I used to see when you went to bed with Dan. I used to like, you know, while Anthony was like over my shoulder snoring in my ear, I just, you know, held it close to me to give me a bit of comfort. You know? You didn't know that because you were sleeping, but obviously now you do. Sorry about that, but I did sniff you. I sniffed your hood quite a lot when you were sleeping.
Round 11. Let's get on round 11. A moderator stepping in.
The anonymous general, the anonymous GM stepping in to stop the chaos.
Yes.
Yeah, Johnny Ace, or whoever you want to say it is, or Hornswoggle's just appeared. Round 11. I've lost track. Diva Dom's done my head in. Where are we? Are we at Raw or SmackDown?
Sorry, mate.
What was the last pick?
Yeah,
last pick was Bron Breakker, so I believe.
It's Raw. Yeah.
Is this so? This is our round 10, right?
11, mate.
11. Oh crap!
Zelina Vega was round 10.
Yeah. Go on, Rob. This is you.
Yeah, again, as I said, we want people that are gonna. I think they'll either established people or people that can then be remade and be the actual superstar that they should be and in their right are. So we are going with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Ooh, I like it.
So Shinsuke Nakamura is going to be your penultimate pick for the 2023 draft, who is returning, you know, only could return last week on SmackDown. So good to see him featuring in the 12 rounds here. Raw, what is your riposte for Shinsuke Nakamura?
Right. Well, Dom has just given the go-ahead to make this my call because we have two we're thinking of. But I'm going to go with Liv Morgan because I feel like our brand needs some more female representation. And when I think of like the female stars on the main roster currently, Liv has to be included in that conversation. She's held the belt quite recently.
Just going to pump the brakes a second because Liv Morgan, I believe, is at least at the moment still a tag team champion.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it's all right.
We had the same conversation. Yeah.
So I didn't realize. I didn't. So
you're
all right, we'll go back up. That's cool. That's fine. That's because doesn't that mean we have her anyway?
You both have her. She's on either side.
In that case, again, we might need some more goodwill because we're going for a tag team stable, Freebird rules. They've been mentioned a few times. We'd like the LWO, please.
So if you are to pick LWO and the guys give you that grace of picking the LWO, I would like to point out that they do not come with Zelina Vega.
That's okay. We don't need
it. I would also extend that to ask you the question: are you asking the guys over on SmackDown to allow this to include Rey Mysterio or without Rey Mysterio?
No. Do you know what, guys?
Well, hang on. Did they draft Rey?
No, Ray's still open, mate.
No, Ray's in. Ray's in. Ray's the leader.
But again, guys, if you will, we'll grant you your next ask.
I would like, if we could, to meet in the middle where you get, you know, not them without Ray, only because you still get a multiple person pick, and we know our last pick, and it's going to have nothing to do with needing a favor.
All right, then in that case, we'd like to go for Rey Mysterio, please.
Dom, I think that's a better pick for you guys anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep, fine with that.
So you've gone for Rey Mysterio rather than Legado del Fantasma?
Yes, because he's a bigger star. And we didn't get our favor, so I'm getting the big star now.
You were getting part of a favor. You were getting it. Yeah, well,
no, it wasn't a favor. We could have
Zelina was already gone anyway.
We didn't need Zelina.
We've got 6 months worth of dream feuds left that we can pull out of Rey Mysterio. So
So Ray versus Dom is continuing over on Raw because he's over on there as well.
We're not going to book that.
Well, let's be honest. Like, even if we don't book it, the chairman's going to pipe down and say, I want to book that until Ray retires, which might be next WrestleMania. So Dom and I might not have a choice. We we control the purse strings and we're the bookers. But I think a mustachioed chairman might interfere at this point and go, book him, pal. So we'll see what happens. But we're going to have Rey Mysterio, please.
Fine. That's your penultimate pick. And for your final pick, we're going to stick with Raw, and then SmackDown's going to bring us home and have the final pick of the 2023 draft. So, Raw, who is your last pick, please?
Do you want to go with the last one that I came up with, or do you want to go? Yes. You want to do it?
Because I think it's way more of an MVP than LWO. So we were going to go with LWO, but we're not that arse now. We've got Rey Mysterio. So we're going to go with, and Motor Talk Wrestling called it, and we're not going to go with his lackeys. We're just going to go with a returning, healthy as hell, back on his A game, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
Crazy to think that he's this low down in a pick. What does that say at the moment?
I was thinking about him earlier on, but I weren't sure about it because I thought injured. Well, we got Randy Orton, who's technically also injured, but then I was like, how much can we go for injured people? But let's forget it all. Like they're all healthy and whatever. But that's cool. Good pick.
But yeah, what we think the thing is with the difference between Randy and AJ is Randy's still out for a while. We know that as a fact. Where AJ. Again, this is some dirt sheet stuff, so I don't know how true it is. But AJ realistically could be close to a comeback, and we don't mind waiting a little while. We just want to draft him and have him when he's ready. But we think AJ is again, he's one of the biggest stars in the company. We need him. We want him.
AJ Styles goes to Raw as the final pick for Raw and SmackDown. Bring it home for us. Who is coming to our fantasy draft on SmackDown?
All right, we're talking biggest stars, and I don't think there's any bigger than who we're capping this off with. And we're going for someone that appeared at WrestleMania. So in my mind, he's on the roster. John Cena.
Oh, we thought about it. Oh, yeah.
Part-timer. You'll get him for like one pay-per-view.
Oh, come on. What about Brock?
We've got money. We've got money.
The ones who drafted Brock.
Brock's wrestling right now.
Brock turns up to way
Is he not
still
a part-timer, though?
All right, if Brock's a part-timer, Cena's a tiny part-timer.
Not on the money we're paying him, Scott.
All right. Yeah, we'll see AJ Styles on SmackDown tonight, will we? Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see him soon enough. We'll see him in the next 3 months, which is good enough for us.
Yeah, and once every year is good enough for us.
I feel like picking John Cena and AJ Styles as the picks for round 12 is a bit of a shock that they didn't appear earlier. But it's a great way to finish the draft and round it off. John Cena coming up as, when they do that thing where they kind of go through everyone's faces and then it stops on who it is that they're drafting, that would get a big pop. John Cena coming down as number 12. So, nice to see John Cena is going to come back and I would presume become a full-timer. But we'll find out because the next
Hollywood money.
The next part that we're going to go through, now that money's been dished out all over the shop on Raw and SmackDown, let's just ask you before we go into it. I'm interested here. If we kind of throw it across, and because who started? Raw started, didn't they? Yeah. They picked Bray Wyatt first. So we'll let SmackDown. You get first pick of your commentary team. I'll allow you between yourselves. You can pick a 2 or a 3-man booth of any of the commentators you could pick that are currently there. Or any commentator who is not currently assigned to another promotion.
That's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
All right. Okay. Who's it? Is it us first?
SmackDown can go first on this because Raw got the other one.
Yeah. Anytime, my instinct is to go to King and JR. But of course we're not doing the King and JR because JR's elsewhere, and this isn't 2001. But let's. Rob, let's decide between ourselves. 3-man booth sometimes works, but depends who you've got. So I'm more inclined to do a 2-man booth. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I like a 3-man booth. Sometimes it gets too busy, and obviously
I will see how we go with the first 2 because I've only got one person that I actually want, right? Because the rest of them I'm not that fussed about, right?
All right.
So I'll let you take over if you want to keep it 2 or 3. I want Jimmy Smith back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually really like
yours.
I think he made it. Yes. Did he feel like a B-Tech Joe Rogan? Yes. But I did enjoy it. It felt like I was watching a sports presentation, and I quite like that side of it.
Okay. In what where would you put him in position wise as a color analyst, play by play? What would you? Because I don't want to step on where
I'd put him as play by play. all my picks for commentators are controversial, I feel. So you take over.
Look, there's someone I'm thinking. I've messaged you now. There's someone I'm thinking.
Yeah, the second one is who I was.
So hold on
okay.
before we go any further. Are we picking Jimmy Smith as your first choice for, or are you still discussing it?
So
I want to do a 3-man now that I've seen them, and I want to do Jimmy Smith. Okay, yeah.
If you want a 3-man, let's throw it over for fairness. We'll throw it over to the guys on Raw, and then we'll kind of play it out from there. So Raw.
We're going to lose one of these now.
Who are you picking as your first one?
What us? Sorry, we're deep in conversation.
Sorry, we were WhatsApping. Right,
Yeah,
shall we go for my one first, Dom? Then go for then go for yours.
Yeah, because are you vetoing my pick? My pick was. We can do this publicly. My pick was Cole over Graves, but we.
Well, my issue with that is you've got 2 play-by-plays.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
I trust you. I trust you based on our conversation. Let's do it.
You need a colour guy and then a BS guy as well.
Yeah.
If you're doing a 3-man booth, so are we giving all 3, Andy, at once?
No, just one. Just the
one. In that case, we're going to go with Corey Graves first because we think the other 2 are secure, so we're not worried.
Okay, so Corey Graves. So I don't know if that throws a wrench into your plan, SmackDown, but who are you going for?
Not at all. Pat McAfee.
100%.
Oh, I like it.
Need that comedic relief. That's
Yeah, McAfee's great. Good shout.
And you're also kind of getting a bit of a part-time wrestler there if needs be as well.
You said it.
Yeah, good choice. So let's go back across, just because obviously these ones is not as much choice. We'll go back across to Raw for your second pick.
Dom, I'll let you make a call on this one.
Oh, dude.
Because I know you're conflicted. So
no, because we have to. I really would love to see the guy back. So let's leave that one. Let's leave that. You want to do it now?
I'm going to do
this.
it.
Do this now, and then we'll work on the other one. Yeah. Okay. All right. Mauro Ranallo. For the return of Mauro Ranallo.
You know what? As soon as I smirked when you said see him back, and then I heard, "Oh, do it," I was like, "No, don't do it."
That's a great shout. One of my personal favorite commentators of all time. I love the passion that he brings to it. So completely get why you'd pick him. You might have thrown a wrench into that potential 3-man booth that SmackDown was trying to shape up. But SmackDown, was that who you were going for, or?
Yeah, so it was
originally
an A and or B. We wanted to bring back Mauro Ranallo, but at the same time, I'm happy with a kind of a next step in of Michael Cole, because realistically, it probably gels a little bit better. You got the sports side with Jimmy, the comedic relief with Pat, and the WWE. I'm going to sell you everything, whether it be Tout or the WWE magazine. Michael Cole. We're bringing back Tout.
The company man that is Michael Cole. Tout. Are you claiming Tout for SmackDown? Are you?
Yes.
Okay, so. Raw. Are you sticking with a 2-man booth? Or are you going with a 3-man booth? What's going on over there?
We're having a 3-man booth, and we're gonna have. Do you want to say it, Dom, or do you want me to do it?
No, you do it, man.
We're gonna have Wade Barrett is our third man.
Shout. Great shout.
Why did you not preface that with you had some bad news?
Ah, scheiße. I should have done that. YouTuber said it in German. Get off your high horse.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not going to allow any 4-man booth, so we'll stop there on the commentary front. Right, so let's have a quick run through, and then we'll go through what we're going to do to kind of go through the next stage, and we'll rush through it basically. So Raw, you got Bray Wyatt, you got the Judgment Day, Brock Lesnar, Becky Lynch, Bobby Lashley, the New Day, Charlotte Flair, Brawling Brutes, Grayson Waller, Bron Breakker, Rey Mysterio, and AJ Styles, with a commentary team of Corey Graves, Mauro Ranallo, and Wade Barrett. SmackDown, you guys have got Cody Rhodes, you've got the Bloodline, Seth Rollins, you've got LA Knight.
Yeah.
One of us got it. You got Damage Control, RK Bro, you got Drew McIntyre, Chad Gable, you've got Imperium, Zelina Vega, Shinsuke Nakamura, and John Cena. And a commentary team of Jimmy Smith, Pat McAfee, and Michael Cole. So yeah, good mix again. So while we're going through this, I have had a very interesting message from Dean, and because I'm nothing but a man of the people, just to throw a bit of a curveball in, you can each pick a legend to be on your show. So I will preface that or kind of like put an asterisk. They must be alive. You can't put a legend in who's passed away.
Yeah, because I was wondering if we could steal someone from AEW as well, if that would be an option. But
I don't want to be technical. Can you define in what category legend is? Because obviously we have a Hall of Famer, we have a legend, stuff like that. So can you define it so we know where we're going?
If you say a name, I will decide as the moderator if I would class them as a legend person.
Kurgan. Okay, sorry.
So I mean, who wants to go first? I'll allow this one to kind of be a.
Let's go with SmackDown. Let's go with SmackDown first.
Oh, we were going to throw it to Raw.
Go on then, SmackDown. Give us who your legend is going to be.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're no time to secretly chat about this, so we'll kind of have to discover it on air. So legend, I guess we're going to take as someone that's just out of contract but could still go. Okay, I see. Yeah. If this happened in real life, I would hate it so much. But go ahead. Oh no! Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, one sec. Here's the other one I also would hate, but might have a few more dream matches. So have a look at that, Rob, if you can. Can you see that?
Oh,
and then I'll let you pick out the two. I would hate them both to happen in real life because of legacy.
So, yeah, I do agree. I sent you one more. Sorry.
Sorry guys.
Which one? Which one? 1, 2, or 3?
The last one, because I actually wouldn't mind that one.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I think for long-term storytelling, someone that obviously I don't want to spoil it, but someone that I think would be perfect for a feud. He is a perfect heel to put someone like Cody over. I think for long-time storytelling, to breaking a throne, to come into AEW and coming back again, we're taking Triple H.
Triple H.
Okay. Is that
allowed? Yes, but I would strongly advise you not to book him in a match or anything because
we're paying for the healthcare. It's amazing what they can do these days.
Yeah, it's a medical marvel in 2023.
We're using the same.
We'll lend you some money. We'll lend you some money.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
So,
we're all on the same side, same company.
Whose house are you backing the truck up to on Raw to persuade them to come back to full time?
Oh man, it's such a difficult one because again, great question on this because it caught us off guard. Like, are we? Sam,
this is your call. This one, mate.
Oh, dude, don't do that to me, man.
No, I will support you. I will support you either way. If you want me to pick it, okay, the idea of just put in WhatsApp and I'll take it from you.
Can I make a suggestion for you? If that helps, obviously it's not going to benefit us.
No, Rob. No, you can't.
I'd be open to listening.
No, go on. No. Listen, go on.
Well, you want me to do the session, or it's just you two?
Just suggest it.
Do it. No,
okay.
We can reject.
I would like the idea. Obviously, it's something. If we had the picks that you had, and obviously you went for a dark, mysterious thing first, I wouldn't go Taker. I would go Gangrel because you got a little brood kind of floating at the front at the beginning.
You see, and that's lovely, and that's a great idea. But this is what I mean. They you would automatically assume Taker.
You know, name, yeah.
And that's where
names on the brand.
Yeah, but man, like, are we talking like people that have to be able to still go at least in some?
No, because we've got Triple H, so.
Yeah, Triple H is retired due to a heart condition. So if they can have trips, we can have Taker. All Taker needs to do is hit the gym, drink some water, and be booked carefully.
Just do a boneyard match. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Right. He could be an authority figure or a manager as well. It's up to you how you use it.
Right.
GM Taker.
You sell it. If you I've put one in there But
Corporate
if you
takes.
want to sell your one, Sam, and you want to do this, and you want to sell it to them, go for it. But I'm putting that one in there, and you take it forward. You know,
Right, okay.
I'm the old blood of this podcast. You're the fresh face. So my opinion is obsolete when it comes to, you know. So go on, you
That's
pick.
me. Must be Matt Hardying you. When I said sell, I mean my other idea in the big ass green box I sent you a minute ago. But yeah, do you know what, Dom?
That's great. That idea is great.
Yeah, damn straight it is.
If we're thinking a legend that you know we're still, it's either or. Either or, I'd be fine with. But if what do you think of that one? What do you think of that one?
Dom, I'm going with what you said. You might be the old head, but it's a wise old head. We're going with The Rock because we're going to have The Rock have one more run. Not necessarily full time, but one more run where he squashes some heels. If he does this, he does that, and then we can meet on pay-per-view at Mania, and he can take down your goddamn Roman Reigns, who's on your brand, or at least he can have a go.
With one fell swoop, Scott is looking sick of his life, and it may.
I can't believe we didn't pick.
And it's got nothing to do with Arsenal.
So we were. It was you. Honestly, it was the conversation. It's picked now. It's on record, isn't it? So no matter what I say, it's picked. We picked.
Yeah.
Right. So it was your conversation that made me switch it because we were going with the take. We were going with Taker, and then we were like, no, it's too cliche. We've got a God roster, so let's go with if we can do this, and we've got the big money. You know, so let's bring him back.
I love how that's just been decided without any.
Well, you know, so let's bring him in. Let's have him. You know, let's have him do one more run on Raw. The money show, the A show.
No, I gotta say, so the ones we were looking at were Taker or HBK before we settled on Triple H, and that was those were the two where I was like, I don't want to see it in real life. As much as the selfish fan would love to see them have a great moment, realistically. You know, but then The Rock is genuinely the best pick. It is like Triple H is actually having health issues. Rock could literally come back. Sorry,
so Stone Cold didn't feature in anyone's conversation.
Yeah, but because he can't go, Andy. He can't
Kevin Owens would play differently.
Yeah,
he can do a stunner. He can do a stunner, and
Rock could do a whole program though.
Would I want to see? What it comes down to is, would I want to see Roman Reigns versus The Rock, or would I want to see Roman Reigns versus Stone Cold? And I'd want to see Roman versus The Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit controversial. When we've done watch-alongs on the RN Pro Wrestling channel, we've spoken on The Rock. Even when we've done build-up shows talking about Mania and all this sort of stuff, I think one of many that I don't want to see Roman versus Rock at all. Like, if Rock doesn't come back, honestly, I'm not fussed because I
hate you for it.
No, me too. I agree with you.
I'm not fussed.
But tons of fans disagree with us. Like, I'm with you. I honestly, Rob, I agree with you. But millions of fans don't. Well, hundreds of thousands of fans don't. If we're looking at recent figures,
I'd say the millions and millions.
So the draft picks are in, the legends are in, the commentary teams are in. So the next thing we're going to do, and we're going to try and make this fairly quick, so we're not kind of like going through in too much detail. But what I did say in the rules was, now that we've got the your draft picks in, I really want to hear what every wrestling fan loves to do, and I want to hear your fantasy booking. So you've got your picks. I hope you've been kind of having a discussion about what you would do. So take us through what life on the new version of, let's start with Raw. So guys on Raw, how are you booking your roster moving forward? Let us know, because what we're going to do at the end of this is I'll ask anyone who's watching, I'll just ask a very simple question. Whose show are you watching at the end of this? Are you watching Raw? Are you watching SmackDown? And we'll let the people kind of decide. But Raw is going to kick things off. Raw, talk us through how you're going to go from here.
Sorry, to jump in, is this just leading towards like the next pay-per-view? Is that going to, like, we're building so a program that will lead to a match between these people, I guess, would make the most sense, right?
Ours is a little bit more longer term, Andy.
Okay.
Ours a little bit more longer term, but we can
tell you
do
what,
both.
To make things interesting, because there is ways that this could kind of stumble out a little bit. This can be building up to WrestleMania, but don't worry about Royal Rumble winners, etc. But you can tell us who you would if it was on your kind of side. at the way this stands, because there's going to be times where you want to use Roman or you want to use the tag team champions, etc. So you're going to kind of cross over a little bit. So you can tell me who you'd have if you want to win the Royal Rumble, but talk us through that really exciting period from the Rumble through to WrestleMania and how you would use your roster. Take it away, Sam. You're chomping at the bit. Go for it.
I am indeed. Right.
on,
So
Sam.
at the Royal Rumble, we have multiple returns, everything, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about other things that happen at the
Make
Rumble.
sure. Can I just make sure you do the quick before you go on your epic. And I understand what you want to do with that feud. Put a couple of other ones in there as well.
Yeah. Well, I thought if I do this one, do you want to do a couple of others?
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool.
I thought that might make sense. If I So at the Royal, so Dom's going to do some really big ass feuds in a moment, and oh my lord, they're good. But this one here, this is something that needs to happen. A lot of fans want to see it. A lot of fans don't, but if they stick with it and they trust us, this is going to be great. So at the Royal Rumble, the lights go out, the Fireflies are out. He comes to the ring in the number 1 spot. He doesn't win, but Bray Wyatt is the Iron Man of the Royal Rumble, just as Bray. And it comes down to him and Bobby Lashley. There might be some other people in there, but him and Lashley have a real showing between each other. And regardless who wins, a little while later, Lashley comes out to Raw and goes, "Look, you spooky son of a bitch. You were the reason I didn't get to go on WrestleMania last time. It's you. You ducked me. You're a coward. We all know you were cleared by medical and you still stayed away. You sulked. You did this. You did that. I want you, Wyatt, and I want you now." Uncle Howdy then starts harassing Lashley every week, little bit here and there. Never gets quite in his face because of what happened last time Howdy got in his face. He still remembers. And hang on. Yeah. and eventually Bray agrees. But Howdy starts saying to Bray, "You need to let him in. You need to let him in. He's in his head. He's in his head. He's in his head." We go to a pay-per-view. And at this pay-per-view, Lashley destroys Bray Wyatt. Just destroys him. Bray Wyatt doesn't do any of his supernatural Mountain Dew stuff this time. He's just battered. Gets in some offense, so he doesn't look weak. But Lashley is angry about WrestleMania and destroys him. And eventually, I'm going to try and cut a long story short, but eventually, Bray does let out the Fiend and goes on a tear, destroys the roster, kills the baby faces, kills the heels, puts the entire thing is on lockdown because they're terrified of Bray Wyatt, terrified of what he's going to do. And eventually, Alexa Bliss finds Bray and talks him down, talks the Fiend out of him. Doesn't egg him on. She brings him back down to reality. This infuriates Howdy, who at the end of the next pay-per-view confronts Bray in the ring, and a ton of people in pig and cow masks run out. And Howdy says to him, "You started this journey and you're just going to walk away from it all. You're just going to stop." Howdy unmasks. He's obviously Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas reignites the Wyatt family against Bray Wyatt and continuously, in his Uncle Howdy persona, invites Bray to take a leadership position. He won't do it. He won't do it. He won't do it. This eventually builds to WrestleMania. Oh, in this time, by the way, the Fiend kills Lashley for retribution, but whatever. This eventually gets to Howdy completely overtakes Bo Dallas, and the Uncle Howdy character faces Bray Wyatt as the Fiend at Mania. The Fiend triumphs, and at the end of the match, Bray Wyatt removes the Fiend mask. He no longer needs this character. Like, yes, he can come back in the future because it's WWE and they might want to sell some merch, but Bray Wyatt is the overwhelming face at this point. And after he's defeated Bo Dallas, aka Howdy, and that gimmick is then done with forever, a babyface Bray Wyatt can now go on a title run against whoever's holding the big title at that point, and we can finally get the decent Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar or whatever we need. But we need to acknowledge and deal with this Bray Wyatt, Uncle Howdy, the Fiend stuff once and for all. And I think that's a way you can do it that fits with modern wrestling. That's just me. And the floor is Dom's.
That was some great fantasy booking. I'll speed through mine if you want, dude.
I feel like you prepared that monologue for a long time. It's almost like you've been thinking about it.
Yes, it's Extreme Rules.
Can I just ask, when did I miss the Bo Dallas draft pick?
And Alexa Bliss. I think there was a couple of free agents stuck in there.
Bliss is fine. She's a champ. Bliss
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what brand they're on. They can still rock up. Right. They can still. It's a pay-per-view. They can rock up.
Right. That was. I love that, Sam. I mean, we'll talk about that on our SmackDown stream over on Gimme tonight. So go check that out. We'll delve deeper into that because it's beautiful. But I know that Raw wants to do its feuds as well. So I will speed through my fantasy booking for Raw. So we're going to start with Becky and Liv. We're going to have a Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan feud. We're going to have a Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar feud. We're going to have a Grayson Waller versus Rey Mysterio feud. We're going to have we're going to have Judgment Day versus the New Day. We're going to have a newly named, rebranded Pete Dunne versus Sheamus and Ridge, the breaking up of the Brawling Brutes. Pete Dunne trying to find himself at the expense of his former partners, and AJ Styles versus The Rock.
Oof. Sorry, I'm just making a note of what you're going for there, because there's a lot of talking points going on there. And what would be your WrestleMania main event if you were fantasy booking that at the end of everything on the Raw side?
AJ Styles versus The Rock.
Nice.
So we also like the idea though of is it Braun and Lesnar, and obviously Bray and Howdy. Like we love that like the three marquee Raw things would be that we like. I think you know.
Except we didn't draft Bo or Howdy, but we'll can workshop it, can't we?
Yeah, but Bo's not been on screen for forever, so it doesn't really matter. Only Howdy has. Remember, Bo Dallas doesn't matter.
We should probably check with our rivals on SmackDown whether this all sounds above board and we're allowed to do this.
You've got a couple of free agents on there, but we'll if free agents pop up on the SmackDown side, we'll see.
Okay,
we'll see.
That's cool. All right, that's
of course
cool.
There's back and forth now, isn't there? There's back and forth.
I want to keep it above board. I respect our competition.
Your esteemed competitors. So you've heard what Raw has to offer. You've had a few minutes to kind of like have a few WhatsApp chats and where you're going with it. So SmackDown, over to you. How are you fantasy booking us? Same question. Take us through from sort of the Rumble stage through to Mania, culminating in what your final image, I guess, is of WrestleMania weekend.
All right, so not quite sure how we might, as we go along, kind of realize, and they'll be the Rumble winner or something like that. But we'll see how that goes. But I think we'll go for the top heavy things first, if you agree, Rob. So I think we're going to go, as Rob said earlier on, Triple H versus Cody Rhodes is kind of a good feud to do. But there's many layers there, of course, with Cody Rhodes as well. And also Triple H in the kind of side of Randy Orton. So what we're going to do is Randy Orton comes back, teams out of Riddle, RK Bro, and the two of them join up with Cody Rhodes. But what we get is Cody and Riddle being turned on by Randy, who aligns himself with Triple H, a la authority type Triple H Randy Orton situation. So it ends up being Triple H Randy as buddies, and Triple H is going 1-on-1 versus Cody, and therefore Randy is facing Riddle. But it kind of gets there by having this kind of interweaving between the stories and the history between Cody and Triple H, but also the history between Cody and Randy and the Riddle and Randy situation as well. And then next to that, we've gone for the Usos going back after the tag titles. Again, another situation where we're going to weave in two storylines at once. The Usos are, of course, going to go back after Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, who at this time have built up a little bit of a friendship with Seth no longer freaking Rollins, who's going to be a bit
That's
more
his
like
now new middle name, by the way.
Yeah, no longer freaking. But he's going to remember his Tyler Black years, and he's going to remember how much of a time he had up and down the road with Sammy and Kevin. So they're going to bring up a little bit of a friendship between the three of them. Not a proper stable, but just a friendship. Enough so it makes sense to a lot of those, go home shows where you see 6-man tag leading to separate matches. So we're going to have Seth Rollins going after Roman Reigns because we think Seth Rollins deserves to be back in that title picture, and his buddies in the indie kind of wrestling world of Kevin and Sammy going against, of course, the Usos. So that keeps the bloodline situation alive with somewhat of a stable, kind of what they're doing at the moment, I guess, with Riddle as well. But Riddle has been overtaken in our storyline by Seth Rollins. Do you want to go on to the next ones, Rob?
Yeah. So we'll start with what, Gunther? Do you want to go with Gunther?
Yeah.
So obviously we've had the idea of Gunther versus Drew happening before. I always feel like it's something that's a big spectacle, kind of on special on that build. So I like the idea of maybe, as you guys over at Raw have basically taken Sheamus and co. So kind of Drew's now left on his own. So the idea of basically of Drew having to battle all of Imperium on his own. Basically, maybe it goes here. Maybe we can start it as it goes to the handicap. So he takes on one of them, he takes on the other one, then he takes on both of them. And basically he's put in his position where until you're worthy enough to go against Gunther, you don't get your title match. And the whole build is Drew being worthy enough to go ahead and win, and maybe win the IC title. So that's why I kind of put Drew and Gunther together.
Yeah, and next up, I think Charisma Fest is what we're going for here, which is John Cena versus LA Knight. I think LA Knight, of course, everyone wondered if he was going to have a little program or something to do with Stone Cold at WrestleMania. No one really thought about Cena because, of course, we knew he was wrapped up with an obvious story of Austin Theory. So if we're going to bring Cena back and we want LA Knight to look good, but we're not putting him in the title picture, tracking with a little storyline with John Cena. We then, we're kind of messed up here because we put Gunther in twice, didn't we? So,
we did.
Busy man.
That kind of leaves two together. All right, screw it. This one doesn't make sense, but it'd be a great match, I guess, right? Is Chad Gable versus Nakamura. Not much of a story going on there, but just a nice kind of nice little match.
We need a because it's SmackDown. Obviously, with SmackDown, they always say
SmackDown 6 and all that. Yeah,
exactly.
It's a new version.
We're building up a new SmackDown 6, so I think Nakamura and Gable are two of the pillars for what we're going to get.
Just in like good wrestling. That's all that is.
Exactly. You're going to get a wrestling fest of between these two guys.
There we go. And then I think the last two that we haven't used yet are Zelina and Bailey. Well, I'm in an iron about that just being a straight up blood feud because I think often we kind of need to see more of that in the women's division that doesn't involve titles. But at the same time, at the moment, we're not involving either of the women's titles either. So I guess we could either stick with Zelina versus Bailey, which I think is a good feud on its own with Zelina as the babyface. But then again, it could go either way, to be fair. I'm just wondering, Rob, do we then throw Rhea in the mix just to be a title thing, or do we throw Bianca in the mix just to be a title thing? What do you think?
I'm happy with either. I mean, we don't get a lot of them, and obviously we're building to the idea of a Mania and obviously the big outcome. Then I'd like to see an actual women's ladder match, a triple threat ladder match within that. So adding whichever one you want, and then turning it into like a blood feud between three of them. So
yeah, why don't we say Zelina and Bailey are fighting for the right to face. Let's say Rhea Ripley, because that's the one I think you'd be mad not to use at the moment. As much as I like Bianca, don't get me wrong. I think the story would be better about someone conquering Bianca rather than like this. So that's a different thing. So let's say Zelina and Bailey are facing each other, much like Drew and Sheamus were, and then it ends up being, well, you're both in it now, so it's them two. And so the feud is Zelina versus Bailey, but eventually they get to Rhea Ripley as well. So that's, I think, where we'll go with that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. You guys also, I guess, like you could break them up and have them, but you've also got the rest of Damage Control. So you have the very talented Io Sky and Dakota Kai kicking around there doing not a lot.
Yeah, that's what we'll do then. We'll do the whole Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton type turn on each other evolution, thumbs up, thumbs down. And throwing into that mega ladder match at WrestleMania has just been announced. It's Io Sky and Dakota Kai. There we go. It's a 5-way. You know what? Screw it. Because they're not using Bianca. We'll use Bianca. We're putting those two titles together. It's going to be 6 people because that's much better for a ladder match. And it's going to be to unify the women's title.
Yeah.
Amazing. And obviously the guys on Raw, if you wanted to use him, you always have the US title on the line as well with Austin Theory. So you've also got that option there. But it's very interesting booking. And I wonder if that sways it in any different way. I know Dean had mentioned before. I do expect Dean at some point will have to go to bed because he does have 4 hours until he goes to work. So if he is still kicking around, let me know if that changed anything, or anyone else who may be watching. If you are watching this after the fact, because this will be up on YouTube, I'd love to hear your opinions. Let us know who you would kind of swing towards, or what would you prefer. Anyone who's watching now, feel free to send in us a comment. Who would you prefer to watch, Raw or SmackDown here? Because there was some very interesting booking going on. A very heavy Seth versus Bray versus Bobby Lashley storyline that's going on there. Features very heavily. Brock versus Braun Breaker, AJ Styles versus The Rock seem to be the heavy hitters. Over on SmackDown, there was a little bit more kind of mention there about Triple H versus Cody Rhodes and Randy versus Randy versus Riddle.
Riddle, yeah.
Yeah, so those kind of like, and having that intertwined with each other, the Usos pairing off against Sami Zayn and KO, recreating that WrestleMania 39 magic 1 year down the line. Gunther versus Drew with that kind of Imperium, like prove that you got to be there. Cena versus LA Knight, Nakamura versus Gable in an exhibition. Who's the better wrestler? Because sometimes you don't need a storyline to have a good match. And then what sounds like a multi-person ladder match booked with every female that they have on the roster. I also noticed that Raw didn't book Charlotte, or did I miss that?
We were waiting on that. We didn't book Charlotte in the original draft, no. But we've got some ideas for Charlotte. But I feel like are we still going? We've got some more ideas.
We will call it there because we are very slowly approaching 2 hours, and I would like
I feel like we were running down on time, but there's so much more. But yeah, sorry. Anyway,
Ronda Rousey comes back and attacks her. There you go.
And another free.
Don't forget our Seth versus Reigns as well. You didn't mention.
What I'd just like to say, and I say this with all respect to the team over on SmackDown, I've seen a lot of your stuff before, man. I'm not gonna, I'm just saying, like a lot of that stuff I've seen.
I mean, Cena, LA Knight.
Except for that, that's tasty. That's tasty. But I think
Triple H, Cody.
So Seth intertwining with his indie buddies doesn't work for you. Going up against Roman Reigns in a position he probably deserves to be in at the top of the card. Come on now. We might have seen Roman and Seth before, but not under these pretenses.
Okay. I guess a different pretense. Yeah, I guess.
And Drew's on his own. Did you not like Rob's idea of Drew fighting his way to Gunther through the rest of Imperium?
You know what? Yeah, actually, on second listen, there is some good booking there. But
SmackDown, baby.
But I do feel like we've been a little bit more inventive with some of our stuff.
Inventive in the sense that you've added Bo Dallas when you didn't draft him. Yeah, you've been inventive, mate. You've been inventive, mate.
The resurgence of Pete Dunne that you were too afraid to book. We just booked it.
And let's be honest.
Good point.
Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy, who's not on the roster. He comes with Bray.
Look, dude, you need to go on the insiders and hang out with all the white, the white.
No, I'm all right.
I love it. It's good. I love the Bray Wyatt stuff. Yeah, it's all good. But the real money is The Rock versus AJ, Pete Dunne's resurgence, Grayson Waller versus Ray, old versus new. Ray putting over Waller. There's good stuff. There's exciting things. Hell, I mean. I'm really excited about our roster. I'm excited about your roster. I would watch your show. I would watch your show.
This is what a good brand split would be like.
Well, there you go. What a way to let's just finish there because we're all friends again. Diva Dom is back in his box. He doesn't need to come out again. Dom, take a breath.
I wouldn't bank on it. I wouldn't bank on it.
Look, man, I also want to shout out the Judgment Day versus the New Day because that could be great too. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just saying that we booked a great show. You guys booked a great show. This was a great show. Well done, Wrestling Royalty. Well done, Andy. This has been fantastic.
Amazing. I mean, you're doing my job for me at this point by wrapping things up. But I do appreciate you all. And the good thing is, as wrestling fans, if all this was to happen, we're all winning anyway. So wrestling is the true winner at the end of the day. And I guess this is just a taste. We probably won't get such kind of like high changes when it comes to next week on WWE. But what I would like to point out is it's a very exciting time to be a wrestling fan. There's every opportunity that WWE can change things up and shake things up and start like new things and exciting things. We don't get the same matches. And even if we do, and it's not your kind of thing, AEW is there for you, Impact's there for you, British Wrestling's there for you. You've got so much choice. But if you've enjoyed our little kind of foray into fantasy booking, into doing the draft, let us know. Follow us all on Twitter. I'm going to give everyone a chance to kind of give themselves a minute plug. But if you could do me a favor, smash the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us, comment, interact with us. Every single one of us on here would be more than happy to have a chat about wrestling at any point, whether it be on Twitter, anywhere else on social media, etc., or follow us on one of the live videos that we all do. It's always great to hear from anyone who wants to have a bit of an interaction. I very much appreciate you joining us. So before we go, I'm going to jump over onto the left. Scott, give us a little bit of a plug. Where can we find you? What should we be looking out for?
Okay, yeah. Well, much like Dom did for us earlier, I just want to say big love to to Dom and Sam for what they do as well. Great stuff over there. Give me a whole WrestleSphere, Soundsphere. Check out their stuff. Definitely, it's not me just kind of easily giving back the plaudits. I really mean that. So, but coming back to ourselves, we're the Ready Snows Pro Wrestling channel. Myself and Rob keep things ticking over with predictions and previews as most channels do, but also recaps and reviews. But we also, like I said earlier on, like to do our build-up shows on the night of the PLE/pay-per-view and get everyone else in the mood for it as well. Of course, we've got a lot of stuff on our channel going back into the archives as far as interviews and stuff like that. And if you really want to dig a little bit deeper, you can go to the main Rebellious Noise channel where we've got a lot more wrestling content on there, such as interviews with who can I pick up at the top of my head? Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor. Then again, we also got those guys on the new channel. What else have we got? There we go. We got loads of stuff. Iconics, a great interview with the Briscoes as well, which I always like to shout out because they were so kind to us as well. And it's a pleasure to be on here, Andy. Really do appreciate it. Great to see Sam and Dom back as well. And thanks for having us, man. Anything you want to say, Rob?
No, I've just enjoyed it. It's making me want to dig the PlayStation 2 out and kind of do this whole thing again. But maybe we'll do that. I don't know. But no, it's been really fun. So thanks for having us.
Amazing. Let's throw it over to the Smiths.
I love that. It's got to be our new tag team name for when we do SmackDowns on Fridays on Gimme a Hull. Coming up in like an hour. Come by. It's been a pleasure. I love hanging out with the Rebellious Noise crew. I love hanging out with you, Andy. You're an absolute pleasure to be around, and physically and on screen. Obviously, we spend a great deal of time at WrestleMania. Please do subscribe to Wrestling Royalty. Please do support what Andy's doing because it's great work. Same with Rebellious Noise. Go give them support. They've been putting years and years of grafting to building their network and their channels. In terms of us, WrestleSphere, Soundsphere, Gimme a Hull. Please do support us. Sam will give you a little bit more background into them in a minute. But thank you so much for your support. And Andy, if we get anything from this, please do challenge Anthony to a WWE 2K23 women's only or WWE 2K23 GM mode because I would love to see that. I want to see that. Please do challenge him because if you think I can get heated, man, you just wait. You just wait for Anthony. Sam, I'll let you finish with the much more professional plugin.
It won't be, but I've had about 4 beers. But anyway, I was going to say, try sharing a hotel with them if you don't believe me. Like, my God, it's like an old married couple, and I mean that in the best possible way. But anyway, like I think I've already talked about WrestleSphere and Gimme a Whole Yeah so much. So I think I'll put over our the things that pay our mortgages even more, which is Soundsphere for Dom, a music magazine which has existed a long time now, and he plays coy and he's very modest, but it's like it is the alternative magazine, you know, all about like upcoming bands and bands who have made it, and it's just I'm always in awe of it. So and WrestleSphere is just a small part of Soundsphere, something we're looking to grow. It's lovely that we have the Soundsphere infrastructure behind us, because my God, without it, what would we just be two idiots talking about wrestling on the internet? Speaking of which, Give Me a Whole Yeah is 4 idiots talking about wrestling on the internet, and we have a great time. And we're going to go in less than an hour over to our SmackDown stream. We've got our special guest, Kinney, joining us as well. So Dom and I are stupidly excited about that.
And hopefully, Sporsy will doubtless be on the channel at some point, if not tonight.
Yeah, man.
He'll be on in future weeks. He is, a great addition to the channel on a Friday night. Keeps us all entertained with great questions and great content, and he's very welcomed by our community, as has Scott been and Rebellious Noise as well. So you're always welcome back. You're always you are all Hullamaniacs, you know that. So you're always welcome back.
And finally, I'd like to plug my other employer, which is Deserto. So if you're into gaming, you know, where he's laughing. I've got to plug them because they tell me off if I ever do a stream on a weeknight. But yeah, so if you like gaming stuff, please check. You can check me out on Deserto. Follow me and Dom on Twitter.
He just says he rips into all the popular games, and he's very, very good at it as well. Sam is very, very good at games journalism. So go check out Deserto and tweet Sam if you want any advice on getting into games journalism, because it's a fascinating world, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to help a mutual friend of ours get into it at the moment, Dom, as well.
Nice. Well, we'll talk about that on our stream over on Gimme a Whole Yeah. But Andy, Wrestling Royalty, thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
No, thank you guys. One last time, thank you very much to Rob and Scott from Rebellious Noise Wrestling, Pro Wrestling. Check them out. You've all heard what they've got to say. There's plenty of stuff to be looking at. Go check out Sam and Dom over on Gimme a Whole Yeah, WrestleSphere, Soundsphere, everything that they've possibly talked about tonight. Deserto, sorry, I almost missed your actual job, your day job off as well there. Sorry, mate.
All right,
thank you very much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. The good thing is everyone on this call and all the 3 channels that we have don't really step on each other's toes. We like to do different things. We're all here to support each other. You've got the guys who will take you through and get you excited. You've got the guys who will literally talk you through the actual shows. The guys will then pick you back up on Rebellious Noise, and they will talk you through often what happened afterwards and the fallout. You've got gaming content. You've got my content, which is just general ramblings over on features, or little videos or big videos like this where we have a little bit of fun in a different way from everyone else as well. So I really hope you have enjoyed it. Give everyone here a like, give everyone here a subscribe and a follow, and we just look forward to doing some more of these in the future. Big year for wrestling over in the UK. I'm sure we'll all be meeting, or hopefully be meeting over in Money in the Bank, AEW, and it may be over in Philadelphia next year as well. There's discussions to be had. We'll see what happens. But the good thing is we have the internet these days, so we can do many more of these instead. So let me just try and really quickly get across to the outro. But this has been really fun. This has been Wrestling Royalty. I've been Andy. These guys have been amazing. Good night.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
Thank you, mate.